Buffalo Bills are definitely not going to be stopped this year, and one of the reasons behind that is James Cook. I know all the action with this wide receiver core with MVS, with Keon Coleman, Mac Hollins, Chase Claypool, and the transition away from Diggs, Dalton Kincaid in year two, right? Khalil Shakir progressing, like all of the attention that's been on this wide receiver crew for this upcoming year, but no one is really paying attention to the rushing attack here, as well as the rushing ability of Josh Allen. We all know Joe Brady's going to be bringing his own flair and spice to this offense, and we kind of saw it last year where the Bills started committing more to the run, and we saw this offense really explode, as well as James Cook. Like, James Cook is really going to be the best version of himself entering 2024. And I think understanding what James Cook presents to this team, what he does best, what Ray Davis does best, what Ty Johnson does best, what the Buffalo Bills have brewing here in Buffalo, is just a dynamic offensive threat. Whether we're running it, whether we're passing it, literally going to be keeping teams honest whatever way they want to play us. If they want to stack the box and stop James Cook, which is just not going to happen here, we're going to have weapons on the outside to really blow things up. And I really think Curtis Samuel is definitely flying under the radar here, another wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills. When you look at his 40 time coming out when he was drafted, clearly a speed demon wide receiver. Looking at him appearance-wise, I don't think you would assume like he's the fastest wide receiver, but, on the field, he definitely is. Ran like a 4.3 40. He could do a little bit of everything. So we do have a home run threat when it comes down to speed. Yes, Keon Coleman isn't the fastest. MVS isn't necessarily the fastest. Mac Hollins, Chase Claypool. But we have Curtis Samuel. We have Khalil Shakir. We have Dalton Kincaid, who's a bigger, physical, slot-type tight end wide receiver hybrid that we're mixing and matching between 11 and 12 personnel. This is something that is clearly going to continue for Bills Mafia. And I've been saying it for years, but play action really opens things up tremendously for the wide receivers. So wide receivers that don't have top-notch speed, right? You really buy more time with the play action. You get defenders out of position. You allow the wide receivers more time to create space. And I think sometimes that's a little bit needed for double moves in the route tree, right? If they're running a route, and they don't have a lot of speed, they might have to come up with additional moves to create that space, to use their shiftiness, to use their agility, to dial things up and create that space. And you really boil this back down to Josh Allen, the kingpin in the NFL of backyard football and extending plays. This just fits what the Buffalo Bills ultimately have on this roster. Home run hits, whether it's speed with Curtis Samuel, home run hit with MVS, who's tall, physical, also has enough speed to beat you deep. You got Chase Claypool, who was rumored a couple weeks ago to be the most consistent wide receiver during our offseason workouts. That's a huge sign. And Mac Hollins, obviously veteran leadership, another tall, physical type wide receiver. Man, the Buffalo Bills really double, triple, quadruple down on having a tall, physical wide receiver. We saw it with Stephon Diggs and the deficiency against the Kansas City Chiefs. Brandon Beane, ever since he came to Buffalo as GM, has been preaching to us that a lot of your deficiencies can be seen in the last game that you play. And when you look at that game versus Kansas City Chiefs, we needed a home run hit. We needed some chunk yardage. We needed a chunk play. And the play was there to be had, but it went through Stephon Diggs' hands. Now, Diggs, shiftier style wide receiver, definitely has good run after catch ability. But when it comes down to those 50-50 jump balls, going up after that ball, utilizing your body, being able to body guys out, to position yourself. Stephon Diggs, I think at the point of attack going up after that ball, he just wasn't strong, right? He definitely could catch it, although he dropped it versus Kansas City Chiefs. But when you're jumping up in the air for those 50-50 balls and you got a defender or two jumping up with you, it's just tough. You got to be a strong physical body. You got to have strong hands. You got to be able to position yourself correctly to go up and get it. And I think guys like Chase Claypool, Matt Collins, MVS, they all present that ability, as well as Keon Coleman. And I think we're definitely going to be seeing that from Joe Brady this year. We could beat you deep. We could beat you in the intermediate and short route tree with Khalil Shakir and Dalton Kincaid. And we can also run it with James Cook, Ty Johnson, Ray Davis, the guys that we just brought in. You know, I really think the Buffalo Bills have a lot brewing here in Buffalo, and we have enough with the running attack to keep defenses honest. They're not going to be able to stack the box because of the wide receivers and the threat that we have. You know, the running attack between Josh Allen, James Cook, and the running backs, you know, they have to respect that. I mean, we saw it, right? The tush push last year. The Bills, I was calling it the Buffalo Rumble. You know, guys getting right behind Josh Allen in 3rd and 1, 3rd and inches, 4th and 1, 4th and inches, and just doing the tush push with Josh Allen. You're going to have to respect the Buffalo Bills and our running attack. You look at this offensive line, too, with Deion Dawkins, you know, Connor McGovern, David Edwards is still here, Cyrus Torrance, Spencer Brown. Like, we definitely have a lot of guys. Lyle Collins is here now. Like, the Bills are definitely balling out of control. Aaron Cromer's been here a while, our offensive line coach. Man, I really think, even with some of the losses, you had Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Trey White, Stephon Diggs, like, moving on from a lot of these players the Buffalo Bills had, we are going to be the best versions of ourselves. And let's not forget that last game versus the Kansas City Chiefs, we didn't have Terrell Bernard. We didn't have Matt Milano. Both those guys clearly coming back for Bills Mafia this upcoming year. We all know, right? Leonard Floyd was really not going to be here this year, was balling out last year, but Von Miller was hurt. Von Miller's going to be getting back to himself. Daquan Jones is definitely going to be getting back to himself here. And man, get ready for this upcoming year. You got Greg Rousseau, AJ Epinesa teeing off on the outside. You know, it's so much talent here. Rasul Douglas having a full off season to ball out for Bills Mafia too. I still think everything is trending up for Bills Mafia. I still think there's a potential for the Bills to be even better than what we were last year. I think the schedule is even easier for this upcoming year. There's a lot of talent. Josh Allen clearly still progressing, working on himself. I know Josh Allen's dedicated himself and probably going to be better than he ever was too. Bills Mafia, I'm so hyped up for this year. You take into account the running attack, the passing attack, the additional pieces coming back on defense. You know, Bobby Babbitt, Sean McDermott working together. McDermott in his first year as defensive coordinator last year. This is clearly trending up for Bills Mafia. But I appreciate you guys all so much. Make sure you hit like, subscribe. That's how you're going to support me to make future videos just like this. Also, check out Course Careers, linked in the description below. You guys could start off completely free to any of their introductory courses: accounting, digital advertising, software development, IT, data analytics, HR. They have a wealth of information. They have certificates. They're networked with hiring managers from CVS, Uber, Salesforce, some of the top companies in the world. That's personally how I landed my full-time job. I wouldn't promote anything else if it wasn't legit. So make sure you guys check that off. You guys can get $50 off using my link. But I appreciate you. Hit like, subscribe, and go Bills.